Hello all of you beautiful people, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, and you know what? Everybody loves a good superhero. They're here to save the day. These 10 superheroes, we're gonna pass, thanks. So with this in mind, I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 superheroes you don't want saving you. Number 10, Jack of Hearts. After Jonathan Hart was exposed to zero fluid, his cells were left constantly charged with excess energy, allowing him to shoot concussive blasts at will. Taking on the name Jack of Hearts, the card-themed superhero became an Avenger. Since his power made him unable to run out of power, he was regarded as one of its most powerful members. Over time, the fission process with his cells accelerated, causing him to build up too much energy. Eventually, the Avengers realized that Hart would detonate like an atomic bomb unless he dispersed vast quantities of energy every day. To help him though, the team built a sealed room which Jack had to sit in for 14 hours daily to disperse his excess power. Although he assumed that this was a temporary inconvenience, Hank Pym alerted him that this condition would only get worse. So yeah, you'd be mighty worried if this guy showed up to help get your cat out of a tree. Number 9, Great Lakes Avengers. At a glance, the Great Lake Avengers look like a pretty decent team. Mr. Immortal can't die, Big Bertha can protect others with her girth, Dorman can create portals, and Flatman is, well, hyper-elastic. But there's one tiny, teeny problem. The team kind of suck. They have a reputation as the world's worst superhero team. Because they're so desperate to be taken seriously, they often march head-on into the most dangerous situations without a shred of preparation. Not only do the GLA usually cause more harm than good, but their team members have a tendency to die very quickly. When Grasshopper officially joins the team, he was killed 5.8 seconds later, which is the shortest term any superhero has ever served on any team. But the GLA have one saving grace, and that is Squirrel Girl. She might have a dumb name, but she has used her rodent-controlling powers to best Doctor Doom, MODOK, Wolverine, Fin Fang Foom, and even Ego the Living Planet. Now that's pretty cool. Number 8, SixPack. Section 8 is a superhero squad that patrol the Irish section of Gotham City. The team normally serve as comic relief since each member seems incapable of stopping crimes or saving any civilians. Not only are they negligent, but most of their powers are completely unhelpful, even being nonsensical and actually quite dangerous. The one member of Section 8 that really stands out though is the leader, SixPack, who has the power to be violently drunk. This besotted super spends most of his nights fighting while hammered, picking on anyone who looks at him funny before vomiting and wetting himself. SixPack regularly rambles on about his wild adventures battling vampires and aliens, but these are hallucinations that he experienced while he was drunk and out of his mind. So if you're in desperate need of a hero to come to your aid, only call SixPack, and only do so if you don't mind being puked on. Number 7, Radioactive Man. After a Chinese nuclear physicist called Chen Lu was overexposed to radiation, he gained the power to emit and manipulate radioactive materials. Using his newfound power, he became a supervillain called Radioactive Man and joined Baron Zemo's team, the Masters of Evil. After being defeated by the Avengers a number of times, Lu learned the error of his ways. He allied with the Chinese version of the Avengers, the People's Defense Force, and dedicated his life to protect his people. Although Lu is now on the right side of the law, he is still highly radioactive. That means he can kill anyone in his proximity just by being in their proximity. Physically saving civilians is not his forte. Number 6, Star Fox. Star Fox may be Thanos' sibling, but he has little in common with the Mad Titan. When the Avengers realized how powerful Star Fox was, they allowed the Titan-born Eternal to join their ranks. Star Fox is blessed with astounding speed, agility, and strength. However, he also has another power, that of persuasion. Star Fox naturally relaxes anyone in his proximity, making them far more suggestible to the red-haired spaceman's requests. Unfortunately, this persuasion technique has gotten the galactic hero into a lot of legal trouble as well as out of it. When a happily married woman accused him of using his abilities to seduce her, he was put on trial for sexual assault. And when She-Hulk was tasked with defending Star Fox, she realized that she had been seduced during her tenure in the Avengers. Number 5, the Sentry. After consuming an experimental potion, Robert Reynolds obtained the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. Sounds pretty cool, right? Endowed with the power of flight, super speed, and a strength that rivals the Hulk, the Sentry sounds pretty much on paper like the perfect superhero. Unfortunately, the Sentry's power came with a price. The Golden Guardian was so terrified that he could misuse his abilities, he became mentally ill. Over time, he developed a separate identity called the Void, which encapsulates all of his negative emotions and base impulses. The Void has all of the Sentry's power, but none of the control. And when that side takes over, it could unleash incalculable destruction on the Earth, the solar system, and even the galaxy. Even when he does rescue civilians, the Sentry usually scars them for life by disposing of his enemies in the most brutal fashion imaginable. On at least 2 occasions, he ripped his rival in 2. And anyone who witnesses such a thing is going to need a lot of therapy. Number 4. Juggernaut. Professor Charles Xavier's stepbrother, Cain Marko, aka the Juggernaut, has served as one of the longest-running enemies of the X-Men since the 1960s. But when his best friend, Black Tom, turned against him, Juggers allied with his sibling to defeat him. After befriending a teenage mutant called Samuel that Xavier was caring for, Juggernaut agreed to stay at the X-Men's residence. During this time, Cain did his best to put his criminal past behind him and become a teacher. Despite his change of heart, Cain was incapable of controlling his volcanic temper. In Uncanny X-Men number 422, Alpha Flight invaded the team's HQ to bring Samuel back to his parents. Knowing that Samuel's father beat him, Cain hospitalized one of Alpha Flight's heroes and trashed several vehicles. However, Samuel agreed to go back to his parents to stop Cain's rampage. But in Uncanny X-Men number 432, Cain learned that Samuel's father was still beating him and so hurled him through a wall and demolished his house. Although fans have never seen Juggernaut act so protective before, this story proves that he's not really quite cut out for the superhero lifestyle. Even when he tries to do the right thing, he can't help but leave devastation in his wake. Number 3. Deadpool. Deadpool is almost unkillable, has unequaled agility, and is one of the most skilled shooters and swordsmen to ever walk the earth. He served as an X-Men and as an Avenger, and he single-handedly saved the world on a number of occasions. It's very possible that the Merc with a Mouth could be one of the greatest superheroes ever to live if it wasn't for his personality. His violent and unstable behavior makes him a prime candidate for one of the last superheroes you'd ever want coming to your rescue. Because he suffers from delusions, Deadpool routinely misinterprets circumstances, so we can't even tell where he is, what he's meant to do, or who he's meant to protect. As a result, he has a tendency to put civilians in way more danger than they were in previously. He's also completely unpredictable, and he could turn on anyone on a whim. I mean, once he shot a scientist dead because he liked the Phantom Menace. And I mean, yeah, it was a pretty bad movie, but you shouldn't have to kill someone for it. Number 2. Hulk. Obviously, being saved by a 10-foot tall, 2,000-pound rage monster is not ideal. Even though the Incredible Hulk instinctively protects anyone that he believes is in danger, he often finds himself to be the danger in question. Since the founding Avenger can't seem to stop leveling buildings or destroying cities, Hulk is the last superhero you would want to save your day. But the Green Goliath's brute strength isn't his only problem. Since he debuted, evil scientists and supervillains have coveted Hulk's blood to manufacture their own gamma-powered creatures. Anytime the Emerald Skin Beast saves someone, they become a target. Rick Jones was Hulk's best friend, and what happened to him? He was turned into a Hulk against his will. The exact same thing happened to Bruce Banner's partner Betty Ross. When Banner protected Nadia Blonsky, it brought her ex-husband Abomination out of hiding, causing him to go on a rampage. Despite his best efforts, Hulk just can't seem to help putting innocent lives in danger. And number 1, Homelander. I mean, do I really need to explain why being rescued by Homelander is a bad thing? The leader of the Seven may be perceived as the world's greatest superhero, but that's because Homelander has the best PR team that money can buy. Even though the public believe that he's an alien from a dead world, Homelander is a human being who was raised in a lab. He served as a guinea pig for Compound V, an experimental brew that endows its hosts with superpowers. And because he wasn't offered any affection throughout his upbringing, Homelander grew up to be a lecherous, egomaniacal sadist. Though he has saved many, many lives, he only does this to maintain his persona as a beloved superhero and national treasure. He cares so little for human life that he has repeatedly killed dozens of civilians out of boredom. And many people who have been rescued by Homelander often end up deeply regretting it. And there we go, my friends. Those were 10 superheroes you don't want saving you. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. As always, I've been Jules, so you can go follow me at RetroJ with a 0 over on Twitter, or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice, my personal gaming channel. It'd be great to see you over there. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon.